Whether it's your phone, your TV, your computer, or even your surround sound system. Who knows, maybe you're balling. We all use speakers in our day-to-day lives, but how does a speaker actually convert electrical signals into physical, perceivable sounds? Hi, my name is Callum, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the clever and simple ingenuity of speakers. Okay, so here is kind of like a broken down, almost if we were to expand a speaker, right? We have all the different parts here. I'll get into the main parts here, but the idea of how a speaker generates sound is not very complicated on its own. All it is it's this black piece here, which is called the diaphragm. I'm just gonna label it with a D. Don't really know how to spell diaphragm, but anyway, the idea is this thing will move back and forth like this, compressing and almost depressurizing air molecules and sending out waves. Now those waves are emitted from this area, and your ears take in those waves, and then you interpret it as sound. Now the question is, how can we control this to actually make sounds that we want it to make, maybe a song or even this video? And how do we take the electrical signals associated with whatever media it is and actually make this diaphragm behave the way we want to? Now before that, I'll quickly mention that this kind of blue shell, if you will, is referred to as the spider. And that's the piece that almost flexes and stretches with the diaphragm as it moves. So if you've ever seen a speaker, when there's a song with a lot of bass, you can see that the stretch and the movement. Mainly it's due to the fact that lower notes have a lower frequency, and therefore you can actually visually see the diaphragm move, whereas higher notes oscillate so quickly that you can't even visually perceive it. Now going back to how we actually control this diaphragm, that's when we get into these last two kind of main parts. We have something called the voice coil and just a regular permanent magnet. Now you'll notice that this voice coil, which in reality is just copper that's just wound in a cylinder almost, I did my best to depict it. That sounds a lot like an inductor because it functionally is one. And anytime we're dealing with inductors, we're obviously going to be talking about magnetic field. So you'll notice that when we have current running through this, if we use our right hand rule, we have current passing through, we're going to have a magnetic field kind of going through this inductor or this voice coil. Now, the amount of current that passes through is solely determined on whatever audio file we're dealing with. It's reduced to ones and zeros, and that is solely responsible, those ones and zeros are solely responsible for how much current passes through this voice coil. And as we pass current through here, we have a stronger or weaker magnetic field that causes this magnet here to move. Now this movement here inevitably causes the spider and the diaphragm to move as well. And so when we have our ones and zeros from our audio file, that is converted into physical electrical signals that pass through this thing, this voice coil, and cause this magnet to move. Now we also in turn cause this diaphragm to move and actually oscillate with very precise speeds and durations, which pressurize the air waves in ways that we want to in order to get the sound that we are looking for. I just thought I would also just kind of try and visually depict what that magnetic field would look like, just to see if I could deepen anybody's understanding of that, especially if this is the first time you're hearing about that. So as we have current passing through here, we have current going through this loop, what ends up happening is we have kind of a magnetic field on both sides that kind of goes in this direction, and then right here we pass through like this. And so it kind of fluctuates through the whole thing like that, the magnetic field, and obviously this permanent magnet is going to be greatly affected by a changing magnetic field due to the current in the voice coil and movement. I really hope this video provided you with a simple and basic kind of overview of how speakers actually work. And if you guys have any questions, I urge you guys to leave them in the comments or look them up yourselves and keep learning.